Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and you may or may not know, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it, but I've talked to people in the XRP community who were, whatever you want to call it, injured by the COVID vaccines, and there's a lot of people that I've talked to who regret having taken those COVID vaccines. I did not take it. I did not let my kids take it either, but you know, a lot of people were forced to take it, and now wish they had, and they've had all kinds of injury as a result. Well, according to some doctors that I've seen online, there are some ways to try and detox from it, and this is one of them.
I get calls every day of people saying, listen, I've taken 2 or 3 shots, I feel sick all over, I've had COVID. We now know that the spike protein is in the body for a very long time. There has to be detoxification. So far, the only available supplement that has a detoxifying capability with respect to dissolution of the spike protein is a Japanese product called nattokinase. Nattokinase, an endogenous oral thrombolytic, basically proteolytic enzyme. And it's nattokinase combined with some other Japanese herbs that Japanese are leading the way on this, by the way. And I'm not surprised. They're very ingenious people. They lead on many aspects of medicine. This supplement I now recommend twice a day for people who are trying to detox. This is the best we can do right now. I've tried hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, fluvoxamine, colchicine. I've tried all the drugs. I don't think the prescription drugs work, but I think some of these supplement packages really do.
He's talking about for detoxing. Now, for me, ivermectin worked to get rid of COVID, not to detox. I didn't take the vaccine, but anyway, the wellness company created this spike support, which has that nattokinase in it. I'm not a doctor, by the way. I know that there's a lot of issues out there with all this stuff, and I know that myself, I was looking for ivermectin. They actually, on the wellness company, and actually, let me remind you, the link's in the top of the description, and you can use code DAI and get 10% off. You can get the spike support. You can also get what I got, which was the medical emergency kit. But they also have memberships, and you can also like consult with doctors, and if you want to get like an ivermectin or a hydrochloroquine prescription, you can actually, they have programs on here for that. So links in the description. Now, oh, poor JP Tierrett. I feel bad about JP Tierrett because he's a nice guy, and I think he knows by now he made a mistake in putting this tweet where, and by the way, JP has not been running Uphold. He hasn't been at Uphold for like 2 years, okay? So I don't think it's fair to hang this around Uphold's neck because he just mentioned them. He was mentioning that they stuck with, they kept XRP on the platform and all that. But that this does not mean, the way I read it, that Uphold is supporting Kamala Harris. This is just JP Tierrett. But again, I think he's a nice guy. I think a lot of people who are just, maybe a lot of them are just lifetime Democrats. I think they're struggling. They hate Trump so bad that they just don't want to accept the fact that the Democrats turned on their own people on the crypto issue. And it's just the fact. And that doesn't mean that you're not a good Democrat or whatever. If you just can't bring yourself to like Donald Trump, the fact of the matter is, right here, I've summed it all up so that it's nice and common sense for all of you that are having a hard time out there. The person who has been running all of this anti-crypto stuff is Elizabeth Warren. She is Operation Choke Point 2.0. Just to remind you, Elizabeth Warren cut a deal with Biden when she agreed to step out of the race in 2020. She said, I'll step out of the race if you let me be in charge of finance and me put my people in at the White House. And I'm in charge of who becomes SEC chairman. She is Gary Gensler. She is Operation Choke Point 2.0. And she does support Kamala Harris. And like Charles Gasparino said, he made a comment the other day, if you believe that they're going to abandon and they're going to send her Elizabeth Warren and her whole position on everything, you need to think again. This is who, there is no voting for Kamala Harris if you're pro-crypto. These guys can rationalize it all they want.
Terrorists have a new way to get around the bank secrecy. Today's terrorists have a new way to get around the Bank Secrecy Act, cryptocurrency. Last year, an estimated $20 billion in illicit crypto transactions funded every kind of dangerous criminal. North Korea has funded at least half its missile program, including nuclear weapons, using the proceeds of crypto crime. And Israeli officials have confirmed that Hamas received millions of dollars through crypto transactions, including, quote, large sums from Iran. Mr. Diamond, you've been CEO of JP Morgan for almost 2 decades. Can you explain why crypto is such an attractive financial tool for terrorists, drug traffickers, and rogue nations?
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, and that is a use case because it is somewhat anonymous, not fully, and because you can move money instantaneously, and because it doesn't go through, as you mentioned, all these systems have built up over many years, know your customers, sanctions, OFAC, they can bypass all of that. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
I'm endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris because she's ready to step up, bring our party together, go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and win in November. I have known Kamala Harris since back right after the 2008 crash, when she was Attorney General in California, and I was setting up the consumer agency, and we fought shoulder to shoulder to push back against the big banks that were cheating America's homeowners.
And here's some pictures for you. She and Kamala Harris. There's she and her buddy Gary Gensler. There's another one of her and Kamala. Elizabeth Warren, Kamala, and Gary Gensler, they're all the same people, folks. And what these people do, because I know them like the back of my hand. I know these people. Let me make a prediction. Here's what they're going to do. If they remove Gary Gensler out of the SEC to make the crypto people think that they're all of a sudden they've had a change of heart, if they do it, it won't be a sideways move. They will promote him to a position he's wanted all along, okay? That's how they'll do it. And they'll try to make it look like, oh, they've had a change of heart. No, these people lie for a living. That's what they do. They have no honor, no integrity. So watch for that. Jim Rickards, gold's at an all-time high, $2,500 an ounce. That says very little about gold, and everything about the dollar means the dollar is at an all-time low when a non-debt metric is used. Cross rates tell you nothing intrinsic. Gold tells you everything you need to know. I agree with that. And then from Good Morning Crypto, breaking U.S. government sells 10,000 Bitcoin worth $650 million. This comes just one day after the Bitcoin reserve bill, where a 1 million unit Bitcoin purchase program to acquire a total stake of approximately 5% of total Bitcoin supply, mirroring the size of the scope of gold reserves held by the United States with over $35 trillion in national debt. Why would the U.S. be dumping Bitcoin? Comment below. Then here's the guys from the Black Swan Capitalists. We always like their clips.
Use corporations, combination of tax residencies and multitudes of optionality, so that you can offboard your ill-gotten gains in the collapse of the debt, in the reflation of the great crypto as a result. And that's what you both said. I don't want to sound nihilistic and black pill. The bigger the crisis, I did a lot of crisis talking, the bigger the opportunity. This super drives the potential of this. You've got to inflate. You've got a beach ball that needs inflating to the size of Jupiter, that I'm saying Jupiter's blowing up. So you can even say, oh, he's a very negative guy, Jupiter's blowing up. Or you can listen to the second half where I say everything that was held in the dark star needs to be reflated into a new system in that beach ball. And I'm telling you where it is and where it's got to go. So that's a whole bunch of inflation that needs to go on that could dwarf every other move before it. You need trillion market caps, not just 3. 1, you need a few.
I think that's going to happen because money always moves from one asset class to the other.
It's like energy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the central banks know.
Energy. It finds its level. It flows.
Exactly.
Nothing disappears. Energy doesn't go. You break in your car, you're creating heat. And heat can be reconverted back to energy. Nothing dies in the world. The biggest lie is that we have scarcity.
Yeah.
We actually can feed everyone. We could feed a much bigger population if we were efficient.
Agreed.
And we had no vampires in the society. In actual fact, there's places where you don't get humans for huge amount of debt. We could all fit into Kansas, the whole world, shoulder to shoulder.
Okay, and then we have this. Van Eck CEO is calling for Bitcoin 350,000.
So about a year ago, I started pounding the table because eventually the Fed is going to start easing here. That's great for gold and that's for Bitcoin. What I said is Bitcoin is growing up and will be eventually half the total market cap of gold. So that's about 350,000. So quite a...
Well, that's all I need to hear about that, because we have Monica Long right here. This right here is Monica Long, president of Ripple.
And also making those cross-border transactions more transparent and reliable for their end customers and cheaper. So using the digital asset XRP, which is an open, decentralized, and global public block, sits on a global public blockchain, XRP enables these institutions to, instead of having to pre-fund for global payments to work around the inefficiencies of the outdated system, it enables them to serve liquidity on demand on an individual basis for the transactions. So that cuts costs in about half for those transactions. And in that, making liquidity more competitive so that we don't see, the 5 biggest banks controlling 90+% of the FX markets. And it's, to expand from payments, it's a similar story for other fields of finance, like lending, where crypto offers the possibility to make securing loans a lot simpler, a lot faster and less expensive because it will become a more competitive playing field.
All right. And then she's talking about how bullish she is more than ever.
More than ever, I'm more bullish about what the next 1 to 2 years holds for Ripple because of the payoff from all the work we put in.
The payoff. I like the sound of that. Okay. And then finally, let's talk about white swans.
Still sort of anticipating that you could see additional regulatory oversight come down the pike for crypto.
This has been a quarter of momentum. So we had so much movement for our goal of regulatory clarity this quarter. We are very grateful to Senator Stabenow, to Representative McHenry for their efforts to bring forth bipartisan legislation in the House and the Senate. We saw overwhelming support of FIT 21 in the House as it passed with bipartisan support. And we are really optimistic that we might see continued momentum into the fall on the Senate side. So our energy is there. It would unlock massive potential for crypto as well as Coinbase if we could bring clarity to the United States.
Still sort of
white swan event would be a flip of the switch moment. Now, in DAIXRP.com, now we have these senators they're getting pissed now, folks. They are seeing evidence of a cover-up now. And these people are getting pissed, and we're going to talk about the evidence of cover-up and what's going on now with the Trump, the Butler, Pennsylvania attempted you-know-what. I don't even know if I can... For all I know, they're now censoring the word that starts with an A out here on this platform, because trust you me, they don't want you... I'll spell it. They don't want you talking about a SECONDSHOOTER. Okay, if I said that out here now, that will get me censored. My experience with social media is anytime you start to begin being censored on any topic, it's true. Okay, it's not a conspiracy, it's true. Anytime they start trying to correct what you're saying underneath you on social media, you're right over the target. That's been my experience. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. Evidence of cover-up. Let's talk about that.